Since the inception of tyre reviews, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric range of tyres has always been a firm favourite on the site. And now the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5 is new to market, I thought it'd be a great idea to get on it and give it a good test. So what have they changed and improved with the new Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5 compared to the outgoing Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 3? Well, they've updated the compound with a new high silica compound, which should give better grip in all conditions. They've improved the active braking technology that was introduced on the Asymmetric 3 or maybe the 2. Anyway, this gives the tyre better braking performance in the dry and wet. And they've now given it a power cushion, whatever that means. It's not something to sit on or sleep on, but it gives the tyre extra stiffness and better control during high-speed handling, so it should give the tyre better performance when you're driving at like high-performance speeds. To test the tyres, we've come back to Goodyear's incredible facility in Miraval, the south of France. We're going to be putting the tyres through the usual range of tests. There'll be dry braking, dry handling, wet braking, wet handling, straight aquaplaning, curved aquaplaning, noise, vibration, harshness. We'll look at rolling resistance, and then we'll try and bundle all that up into a conclusion, which sounds like it's going to be complicated. Not being satisfied with just putting it against the predecessor, I'm putting it against the Continental PremiumContact 6 as well. Now, the PremiumContact 6 and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4, since they've been out in about a year, they've been trading blows as like the best tyres on test. So this will give us an idea of whether Goodyear have really stepped up their game and taken it to the very best level on this sort of comfort bias, ultra high performance segment. First up, we'll look at the data driven stuff, and then we'll move on to the all important handling tests. The wet braking data proved the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5 is a good step over the 3 and on par with the Continental PremiumContact 6. The straight and curved aquaplaning had the Continental and Goodyear swapping places at the top. So let's move on to wet handling and see if things are any different on track. I'm going to start the day with the Asymmetric 3, and as I found a couple of years ago when doing the Asymmetric 3 versus Asymmetric 2 tyre test video, the Asymmetric 3 has always been a bit of a wet weather king, or the Asymmetric range has, and it's just a really nice balanced car and tyre, and I've got no complaints with this. So obviously this is the first wet handling lap of the day, the first wet handling tyre, and it's just it turns in beautifully, back end moves slightly but grips in, and just the car's balanced. The lap time is 66.13, so that's the benchmark time, and let's see if the Asymmetric 5 or PremiumContact 6 can do any better in both lap time and subjective handling, so the balance and how the tyre feels. Right, I'm now out on the Asymmetric 5, and interestingly, you notice immediately, even before you get on track, that it's slightly heavier to steer and feels slightly more positive. On just driving to the track, you can tell that it's a more positive tyre on the front axle, and it just seems a little bit more comfortable. So that's a good combination of qualities that don't relate to wet handling, but that's me telling you what I've just discovered. Now, on the lap, it translates perfectly. You've got a slightly better front end, as in it steers a little bit quicker. The steering weights up really nicely compared to the Asymmetric 3. I'm not saying the Asymmetric 3 is a bad tyre, but they've just improved it. And you feel like you've got more grip everywhere. I think the best thing is they've managed to do this and give you the extra grip without changing the balance of the tyre. So the car still has a very, very similar balance. And all round, I'm really impressed with this tyre. I didn't think it would be possible to improve it this much, because the Asymmetric 3 is only a 3-year-old tyre, but it's there. Beautiful balance, extra grip over the Asymmetric 3, and almost a second a lap faster over what is quite a short wet handling lap. And I've still got all the confidence that I had with the Asymmetric 3, that I know exactly what the car's going to do and when it's going to do it. So we're a really good tyre. Good work, Goodyear. You've improved, which if you hadn't, that would be worrying, but you've improved well. You've kept the best bits of the Asymmetric 3 and just added a bit more. I like that. Okay, now the PremiumContact 6. This tyre again felt a teeny bit more positive, a little bit lighter to steer on the front end than the Asymmetric 5. So I guess the Asymmetric 5 feels more sporty, but this just turns a little bit more quickly, so feels more positive, which is nice. I like this. It's not a fact I thought I would find with the PremiumContact 6, because usually the PremiumContact 5 was a little bit of a soft tyre, but this turns really nicely. The issue is, now it feels like it has the same amount of grip as the Asymmetric 5, but the issue is that front end positivity, demonstrated there, which is nice on turn-in, kind of makes the back wander a little bit, and I've been surprised a couple of times on this tyre where I wasn't on the Asymmetric 5. Now interestingly, the lap time is, and I mean exactly the same, to 5/100ths of a second, so less than, it's a half of a 1/10 of a second. I am working harder on the Continental though, so when it comes to road use, I think I would prefer to be on the asymmetric, just because I'm not surprised as often. So same amounts of grip, same lap time, the Conti surprises you a little bit, and then a bit like the asymmetric 3, you don't get quite as much communication through the front axle when switching to understeer. So I'm around the limit here, a little bit of throttle, and I've pushed past the limit, but I'm getting that through my ear rather than through the steering wheel, which is good. But this is close. This is really close between the asymmetric 5 and PremiumContact 6. I'm talking about it, but the gap is small. I mean, the times are the same. Subjectively, they're very similar, and they're both doing a very good job around this wet handling circuit. If I had to pick a winner, asymmetric 5, just because there's less oversteer, but maybe that oversteer in the PremiumContact 6 will help it in the dry. Never know. But tell you what we're going to do, we're going to go find out, because dry handling here that's my favorite thing in the world. So let's move on to that. During the dry braking testing, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 3 actually had a small advantage, but it was very close between all 3 tyres. As with the wet handling test, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 3 provided an excellent benchmark with good levels of grip and an excellent vehicle balance. Well, I am now on the new and improved Asymmetric 5, and I am happy to report that it is improved. What's it kept from the Asymmetric 3? Well, it's kept this really nice balance. As you can see, you can just turn the car in, the rear will start to move a little bit and then just stabilize, and it's just probably the perfect balance you want on this Golf GTI. I couldn't ask for a better balance. Where it improved, well, turning a little bit sharper, steering weight's up a little bit more nicely, which is always a positive. Mid-corner grip, now that feels like it's a noticeable level of extra grip. You feel like you've got more ability to turn the car mid-corner, which is again exactly what you want. Braking and turning also seems to be improved, so that transient part of the sort of corner entry where you're on the brake turning in, the Asymmetric 3 could get maybe now I've tried this, could get a little bit wondery, whereas the 5 just digs and turns. If I was going to be negative about it at all, I think maybe on the very fast corner, which I've just gone round, you lose a little bit of, at the very top, I mean it's 100, 110 mile an hour corner, you just maybe lose a little bit of the detail you got through the steering with the Asymmetric 3, but it's rounding off the circuit more, which I'll come to NVH a little bit later in the video, but this is probably a result of the improved comfort of the tyre. So definitely an improved tyre. Again, like the Asymmetric 3, this tyre doesn't feel like it's overheating particularly. You get a first lap win performance with all summer tyre, UHP summer tyres, and even track tyres, and then this tyre just stabilizes nicely. So again, it's a track, not that you would use this tyre particularly for hammering around a track all day, but it's a tyre you could use on track. So for fast road use, absolutely fine. So the time, the important time, it's improved on the Asymmetric 3 by about a second, which I'm going to be honest, really good. Didn't expect a full second. So let's move on to the Continental and see where the Continental balance is, because I think it's going to be very close. Okay, now the PremiumContact 6. Now this has been called in a couple of German test publications a very good handling tyre, and that wasn't particularly true of previous PremiumContact tyres. They were perhaps a little bit softer PremiumContact 5. But I'm surprised. This car has the most positive turning of the 3, and it turns really well. The brakes are strong. It feels like it's got approximately the same level of lateral grip as the Asymmetric 5, but it's just that little bit sharper on the front end. Maybe where you lose a little bit, again, is in the very high speed corners. You just don't quite know when it's going to turn into understeer. It's not quite as communicative, but the nervousness I found in the wet with my driving style, where, as I said, in wet handling, the end used to come around quite quickly, which was a little bit of a surprise at points, that's gone in the dry, and it's rewarding you with a slightly better balance overall. So solid job to Conti on this one. the lap time, the all-important lap time, is nearly a second quicker than the Asymmetric 5 again, which didn't translate in the dry braking results and all the wet braking results, but it's still a fabulous performance from this PremiumContact 6. So fair play Continental, and let this be an example of why, although it's called the PremiumContact 6 and not the SportContact 6, because that's the bigger brother, this is still a really nice handling tyre. So good work, Continental. During the comfort testing, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5 proved to be the best of the group. It rounded off the bumps and road perfections a little bit better than the other two tyres, and although the noise inside the cabin was broadly similar, it was a lower pitch and more tolerable. So now we've done all the testing, let's conclude the day. So, how do we conclude this day of testing? Well, as promised, and as we'd hoped, the Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric 5 is a big step over the Asymmetric 3 in almost all areas, so congratulations to Goodyear for that. When comparing it to what is one of the best tyres in the segment, the Continental PremiumContact 6, the Goodyear holds its own, which is exactly what Goodyear needed to do. It's delivering identical wet lap times, but the balance is probably slightly better on the Goodyear. In the dry, the Continental was a little bit quicker, but looking at the wear of the tyre after a few dry laps, I would say the Goodyear's probably got the better longevity. This is the left front Goodyear and Conti, which see the most action on track. Conti Goodyear, as you can see, the Conti after, these are both done about 4 or 5 laps of high performance, and the Conti's a little bit worse for wear. Now this would never be a problem on the road, but it's probably worth keeping in mind if you're going to do any track work with these tyres. Goodyear's fine. The Asymmetric 3, which we've been running as like the test tyre, the control tyre, the practice tyre, has done loads more laps and it's still fine. This isn't brilliant, but wouldn't happen on the road. Just don't use it on track. Looking at the wear testing Auto Build have done, because I didn't manage to do it, the Goodyear has better wear than even the Michelin. And when you factor in price, the Goodyear's got this kind of good in the wet, good levels of comfort, good overall balance of performance at the best value, because of the 3 tyres it's usually the cheapest and significantly cheaper than the Michelin. So with the best wear at the best price and almost equal in all the wet, dry aquaplaning tests and things like that, it's a really good package. So definitely one to consider. But again, that's not saying the Michelin or the Conti are a bad choice either. As a consumer, this has never been better for us because we've got 3 excellent tyres. And as soon as I start testing the Goodyear Eagle F1 Supersport range against the 4S and the SportContact 6, that's when things are going to get really exciting. So if you've enjoyed this video or have any questions, give it a thumbs up or ask below. I'll do my very best to answer every question. Don't forget to subscribe for videos like this in the future, and the all-important Supersport versus 4S test I'm doing in June, and the BMW M2 and a racetrack in Texas, and it's going to be incredibly exciting. Thanks for watching. Thanks again to Goodyear for letting me test this tyre against the predecessor and allowing me to use one of the best competitors on the market, because that's a bold step from Goodyear. And as always, happy motoring. Oh, subscribe. Did I say subscribe? There'll be something around here to subscribe, and I'm sure there'll be another video on the screen that you can click and watch. Go watch the previous video that covers the new Goodyear Eagle F1 Asymmetric range and the Conti range and the Michelin range, and how they all align, because they all line up quite nicely. It's going to be an exciting year for tyres.